We've got AG on the line from Melbourne. Hi, what would you like to ask, AG?
Hi, I actually wanted to find out, I actually got a house in Hoppers Crossing, and we're actually thinking of buying a second house in Hoppers Crossing too, so I just wanted to find out if it's a good investment area.
I've got a question related to that for Robert. In that situation for AG, this is the big question for people, buy then sell or sell then buy?
Well,
is it different now to what it would have been 10 years ago?
We find that your profit's in your buying. So if AG in Melbourne can negotiate right, and he obviously knows the area because he lives in the area and he wants to buy in the area, and I actually agree with his methodology. People might think diversify and buy all over the country and that, but if he knows his area, and it's like the nest with the eggs. If you keep all your eggs and nest in a close proximity, you can actually look after them a lot better. So I actually like AG's philosophy in buying an area that he knows and he's comfortable with, because he'd know the good side of town, the bad side of town, the streets not to buy in and the streets to buy in. Whereas if you're from out of town, you wouldn't actually know that. But from his point of view there, just making sure that your loan structure, AG, is structured correctly, that when you actually go ahead and buy that property, making sure that you're structured in a way that your repayments are geared where... Do you currently have a mortgage against your existing property?
Yeah, a little bit.
How much do you owe against that?
190.
190, okay. And is that variable or fixed at the moment?
It's on variable at the moment.
Variable, okay. The way we would... And what's your current property worth, just as a ballpark figure?
About 340. 340,
okay. The way we would structure that is get your property revalued. We'd set up a facility against your property where... In your scenario there, if it was 340, we'd set up a facility, say, of about 272 against your property there. And in that's about approximately 80% of the value of your property. Then we'd subtract the 190, which is what you currently owe. So that means you've got approximately $82,000 available to you as funds that you could use as a depositing cost to buy the next property. So the right structure would be set that second account up as interest only and the other account up as interest only on the new Hoppers Crossing property, and then redirect your rent that you'd be getting from Hoppers Crossing, not into the new investment property, but redirect it back into your loan. So by doing it that way, actually parking not only your income into that, hopefully you've got your income going to that, I don't know how it's currently structured, but hopefully you have, and then parking your rental income into that property there, and using that facility there to have all your money parked into it, because the more money you got parked into that property, the lower your balance. The lower your balance, less interest it gets calculated. Less interest it gets calculated, the quicker you pay off component one, because if you're living in that, that's not tax deductible. And then on the other components, with structure, we just paid interest only on those, but don't pay any extra into that, because if you do any redraws from that, and it's not for business or investment purposes, you can't claim it as your tax deduction. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
That's service for you, AG. That's service. And there's even a little diagram, which I wish you could see.
I've got a little mud map here that I follow, yes.
It's got a little flow chart, but we can't show it to you, unfortunately. But great advice. Hey, hopefully that helps AG. I'm sure it does.